Welcome into another episode of Locked On Phillies. The Phils finally get another sweep. They take all three from the Tampa Bay Rays. What was the most impressive part of the series win? The series sweep. We'll talk about it on today's episode.
You are Locked On Phillies, your daily Philadelphia Phillies podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, this is Locked On Phillies. I'm your host, Connor Thomas. Thank you so much for joining us today. We come to you as part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Please make sure if you're checking us out in podcast form that you're rating and reviewing. We're available wherever you get your podcast. We're also available on YouTube. If you haven't watched us yet, you can check that out. Go to Locked On Phillies YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. It'll get you notifications when new episodes are posted. That way you won't miss anything. It's free and easy to subscribe. If you're not familiar with my work, I've been also on air over at 97.5 The Fanatic doing sports talk radio in the city here for about 5 years in Philly. I've been a credentialed Philadelphia Phillies media member for 4 years, and this is now my fourth season as the host of Locked On Phillies. Today's episode is brought to you by the Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. Turn any TV into your Xbox. No console needed. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to learn more. The Phillies are on absolute fire right now. I mean, I'm fired up today. What a win they had last night in the series finale against the Tampa Bay Rays. They looked absolutely dead. They go down 5-1 late in that one. It's just like, okay, well, we've seen this before. Getaway game, going to Cleveland. Okay, don't worry about it. We've already won 2 out of 3. Let's move on. But if you were thinking that way, should have known better. Because the Phillies, after taking the first 2 of their 3 games against the Diamondbacks, went down big, 7-2 against those Diamondbacks in a series finale game. And what did they do? They fought all the way back with some clutch swings, some clutch homers, and found a way to force extra innings. Now, did not win that ball game. It's funny how strikingly similar last night's game was to that. Jesus Luzardo wasn't bad. He didn't have his best stuff, but the offense was just kind of asleep at the wheel for the middle innings of this one for the Fighting Phils. They score in the first inning. They don't score again until the 8th inning, 7th inning? I mean, they had the middle innings really, really locked down. The Tampa Bay Rays pitching staff did, but the Phillies fight back. Bryson Stott, the big swing of the game. He goes yard, 3-run home run to make it 5-4. And then in the 9th, the Phillies scrape across the tying run. And in the 10th, they get 2 to go on and win it. It was just an exceptional performance by everybody. The bullpen was really, really good in holding the Rays when you needed to. The offense, they went from, hey, we can't figure anything out to we're going to get after the Tampa Bay Rays bullpen. Big swings when you need it. Smart at bats when you need it. Trey Turner, late, who got the Phillies the tying run in the 9th inning with an RBI single and scored Alec Boehm from third. It's a beautiful piece of hitting. Infield in, chop the ball on the ground, gets by the shortstop. You don't have to do too much. He's not dropping and lifting or anything like that. No, you just go ahead and hit it up the middle. Brandon Marsh in extras leads off the top of the 10th with a double in the gap, trades places with Edmundo Sosa at second base. It's just a beautiful, beautiful thing, the way the Philadelphia Phillies are playing baseball right now. They were unbelievable. As far as the best performance in last night's game, I would love to give it to Brandon Marsh, who had the big RBI double in extras to kind of settle the Phillies. Hey, this ain't ending like it did with Arizona. We're going to find a way. He had the game leading or the go-ahead RBI, and then he had the extending run scored. But really, it's got to be Bryson Stott out of that leadoff spot. He had an 0-for-5 game at the start of this series, and then he's just turned it on in the past 2 games. 2-for-4, 3 RBIs, home run in a big spot, 2 runs scored. This team's damn good. Trey Turner's hitting .310 right now. Yohan Rojas is hitting .299 still. Weston Wilson's hitting .300. Very small sample size. Edmundo Sosa's hitting .341. It's just they've got guys that are really adding depth to this team, and the Phillies used everybody last night. I'll tell you what as well. Great job of managing by Rob Thompson. He's not going to get enough credit for last night's game, but the pinch hit opportunities, or rather the pinch running, pinch fielding, I guess, or defensive replacement opportunities, He emptied the bench to find a win in a series-ending game because the Phillies made it close. Anyone who's like, oh, Rob Thompson, give-up lineup guy in the final game of a series, he didn't give up on that game. Now, his team had to fight back to get them to a place where he felt comfortable kind of selling out to go get that win, but it paid off. It really, really did. And the Phillies are playing awesome baseball right now. They just seem to be in every game, even when you think they're dead. They are not. And that is why we call them the Fighting Phils. Now, what was the most impressive part of this series victory? We're going to talk later on in the show about Andrew Painter's AAA debut. We're also going to talk about the series with the Guardians and preview that. So we'll get into everything else. But what is the most impressive part of the Philadelphia Phillies series win over the Tampa Bay Rays? And for me, it was the approach at the plate. Even when the Phillies weren't hitting the ball well in the middle innings of last night's game, they weren't giving up at bats, right? They were making pitchers work, and they did that throughout the series. Their strikeout numbers, minimal in this series. Their walk numbers, pretty darn good. Like, they were able to find their way on base, sometimes without hitting, which is great. But the most important thing is they were working pitch counts on everybody. Starter, reliever, didn't matter. There was not a lot of the Phillies getting themselves out in this series, and that's when they're the most dangerous. If this team's not going to get themselves out, there are too many talented baseball players up and down this lineup for other pitching staffs, unless you're facing the elite of the elite to get them out themselves. The Phillies can really only beat themselves right now, and that's how it always should be until you play teams like, I don't know, the Dodgers or maybe the Tigers, who now have the best record in baseball out of the American League. Wild story with Detroit. Credit to them, by the way. But unless you're facing like those elite baseball teams, when you're facing middle to below middle of the pack teams like the Rays, you're just looking at, okay, we're going to have to get ourselves out if they're going to have success against us. And the Phillies did not do that against the Rays. That's how a lesser team wins a series. That's how a lesser team takes a game. The Phillies didn't let that happen. So I think that's honestly the most impressive part of the season so far. When you look at what we complained about, take running it back off the table, because that's a Dave Dombrowski conversation that we don't have like control of, whatever. Like, I understand people are upset with moves that he has made, moves that he has not made. I get it. But on the field, I mean, the Phillies' number one criticism was their approach stinks. They get themselves out way too much. Trey Turner said it. Multiple players on the team have said it. They need to not hurt themselves with swinging at pitches out of the zone, swinging at pitches that they shouldn't, like not chasing fastball as much and trying to get breaking balls. Like, there's a lot of things over the past couple of years, especially in the postseason, that we've seen the Phillies not do well. And this year, the approach feels totally different. They don't feel like hey, we're just going to swing hard, and if we run into pitches, we're going to get the ball out of the yard type of baseball team. They seem like a punishment type of baseball team where, hey, you don't hurt us, we're going to let it go. But you come in this zone, we're going deep, or we're going in the gap. Or if there's guys on base and we need to advance them, we're hitting the ball on the ground. Like, they just play much more fundamentally sound baseball at the plate this year, it feels like, than they have in past years. Now, I'm not making any grand proclamations about the rest of the season, about the ceiling, about any of this, because we've seen this team go on unbelievable hot stretches before and it not play out in October. It is still May. So everyone deep breath. We're not, oh, which way is the parade going on Broad Street? We're not remotely there yet. But what I am saying is the trends of this Phillies team right now, and it's easy to say when they're going good, but that's all we have to react to at the moment, say they have changed the approach. They're creating more opportunity on offense. That's not the home run. They may have a more deep lineup than they have had in the past if you continue getting this production from guys like Rojas and Sosa and Wilson and Kepler and guys like that you didn't really have in major roles last year. Not that those guys, any of them are in major like star roles, but still, you get what I'm saying. The lineup feels longer. The team feels better. And right now they are proving it on the field. They have won 5 of their last 6. And finally they swept too, right? Like, they haven't swept the series since the Colorado Rockies, and they've had opportunities. And they made it, like, I had the tweet ready to go. The Phillies are still allergic to sweeping teams. Was typed out and saved in my drafts on my Twitter last night. But thank God I didn't have to send it, because the Phillies fought back and they battled, and that was one of the more satisfying wins of the year. It's their biggest comeback win of the year so far. And 3 games in Tampa, minor league stadium, where you kind of have to bring your own juice, not as big of a crowd. But hey, credit to the Philadelphia Phillies fans for packing that place out. It was a largely Phillies crowd down there on the road, which is always great to have when you're starting off a 6-game road trip. I mean, everything that could go right in this series against the Tampa Bay Rays went right. And it's beautiful to see a series where they finally put it all together. Now, the Cleveland series is going to be a much tougher task. They've got the same record as the Philadelphia Phillies. They have some major upside on the offensive side. Pitching staff a little bit questionable. But the Phillies pitching staff, pretty darn good. And it's going to get even better in July when Andrew Painter comes up. Because if you take anything out of what Andrew Painter did at Lehigh Valley last night in his AAA debut, take it as this dude is going to be ready this year. Like, he's going to be ready and he's going to be good. We'll tell you what Andrew Painter did in his first ever AAA action last night in Lehigh Valley as we continue today's episode of Locked On Phillies. Oh, we got a new friend to tell you about. Let me tell you about something that's near and dear to a lot of our hearts: coffee. And let's be real, coffee isn't just a drink. It's a ritual. It's a lifeline. It's the thing that gets you from half asleep to fully functioning. And if it's that essential, why would you settle for anything less than amazing? That's where Trade Coffee comes in. Trade is the #1 coffee destination in the U.S., delivering fresh, incredible coffee from over 50 of the country's top roasters. Whether you're a cold brew fan, maybe you're a pour over purist, well, they've got a roast that you're absolutely going to love. They have this quiz that you can take, and it only takes like a minute. And the first bag they send you is going to be like right on with what your preferences are. They figure out your preferences. And it's not one of those like stupid Facebook quizzes of like, what SpongeBob character are you? No, there's legit research that goes into this to make sure that they match you with coffee that they know you're going to love. The coffee is going to be fresh. It's going to smell amazing. And, well, it may ruin grocery store coffee for you in the best possible way. You're never going to want to go anywhere else. So right now, Trade is exclusively offering our customers, our listeners, 50% off your 1-month trial at drinktrade.com/lockedonmlb. That's TRADE trade.com/lockedonmlb, and you'll get 50% off your 1-month trial. Drinktrade.com/lockedonmlb. Go ahead and check them out. Get yourself some of the best coffee in the world. I've also got to tell you about Amazon. Their Fire TV 4K stick is awesome. And did you know that your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Well, you can turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No consoles required. You just grab your paired controller, subscribe, or sign in to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. And you can dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Avowed, all your great games. They're right there on your Fire Stick. Like, it's crazy how easy they've made it. It's so simple. It's so portable. And they've got the best Wi-Fi and everything, so you're not lagging. They got Wi-Fi 6, 6E, and auto low latency mode advanced technology, so you're not going to be behind all the sweats that are out there playing online. No, it's perfect for you to take your games on the go or just play at home and just not have to worry about having the big box that sits and takes up space on your floor in front of your TV. So you can go ahead and head to amazon.com/FireTVLockedOn to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd Gen. And of course, you can still do all the streaming and stuff that you love already from your Fire TV Stick. So go ahead and check out the Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. You're not going to want to miss it. If you're a big-time gamer or just someone who likes fun in general, you're going to love this product. Andrew Painter, AAA debut. It was a long time coming. Feels like it's been years since we've heard about Andrew Painter as this guy who's like close to the major leagues, because he comes into spring training a couple years ago. He has the elbow issues. He ends up with Tommy John. And it's just like, it sucks because there was a chance that he was going to make the team out of spring training 2 years ago. And now all of a sudden he's just making his AAA debut. And it was a very cautious recovery from injury by the Philadelphia Phillies that they use with Andrew Painter. And they should, because he's going to be pitching for a long time. He's an important part of the future of this franchise. And you don't need to rush it, right? We talked about this with Ranger. We talked about this with Taijuan Walker going to the bullpen. You have some high-quality starting pitchers. Wheeler, Nola, Suarez, Sanchez, Luzardo. That's your five. Then Taijuan Walker is a solid emergency option. Never thought we'd be having the conversations about Taijuan Walker that we are this year. Major credit to him for lengthening the depth at the starting pitching spot. But then you have Andrew Painter, and he's going to come up at some point because, yeah, he's that good. And you saw it last night. If you watched or just looked back at the highlights of his AAA debut for Lehigh Valley. Now, he's still ways away from the major leagues. He's not like, oh, okay, he had one good start. Now, all of a sudden, he's going to be pitching for the Phillies next week. Like, that's not how this is going to work. He's going to have multiple starts at AAA. They're going to be cautious with him. They're going to keep his pitch count down. He only threw 3 innings, but, man, did he look good. At 8 swing and misses, he only allowed 1 hit over those 3 innings. He did walk 3, a little bit of a command issue, but he struck out 5. 34 of his 60 pitches were strikes. You'll take that. You want that to be a little bit higher, and that's why the walks kind of happened. Fastball topping at 98.3 miles an hour. His breaking ball is breathtaking. Like, I'm telling you, you're about to get a guy that is going to sit upper 90s and have this wipeout, devastating breaking ball, and he's still adding to his arsenal. Like, he looks really good. He faced the top prospect in the minor leagues right now and struck him out once, walked him once. When you look at Andrew Painter, I don't know how anybody sees this guy as anything other than a future ace at the major league level. That's a lot to put on a kid's shoulders who just pitched at AAA for the first time, right? But go back and watch some of the highlights. Garrett Stubbs caught him last night, and shout out our boy Stubbsy. He was asked before the game because they wanted to interview him. A lot of media was down there for Andrew Painter's debut at AAA, and he said, "Thank you for everyone coming to watch me play." And then they asked him about Andrew Painter, and he said, "Who?" Obviously kidding there. We know his jokes are sometimes too much if you think back to 23. But watching Garrett Stubbs catch him, it was almost like his stuff was too much for Garrett Stubbs at points, where it's just like, oh, wow, this ball's getting on me quick. This breaking ball, oof, that's got movement. And Stubbs, if you're saying, well, he stinks, he's Garrett Stubbs, he can't catch anyway. Good defensive catcher, right? His problem was never his defense. Offense, okay. But like Stubbs looked like he was having trouble handling Painter a little bit there. The hitters definitely were having trouble handling Painter. This guy is going to be unbelievable. I'm telling you, hop on the Andy Painter hype train before it gets out of the station, because you're going to want to be one of the first people to say, hey, this dude is a future great pitcher at the major league level. And it was another big step for him. Now, what we're going to do, naturally as fans, is we're going to be excited about the AAA debut, and then we're going to forget about it for a month. And that's okay, right? Because all he's going to do leading up to his major league debut is he's going to continue to up that pitch count. We're going to try and get him through 65 pitches, 70 pitches, 75, 80, work him through 5 innings, get him up to 6 innings, maybe even 7 innings. But what you don't want to do, which is where Lehigh Valley has to be very cautious, and they're definitely working in tandem with folks at the major league level to figure out what the plan is for Andrew Painter. This is not just use him how you want, Lehigh Valley. This is you're doing exactly what we say you're going to do with our top pitching prospect. You're going to see him maybe restricted a little bit more than you think he should be at AAA. And part of that is when he comes up to the Phillies, he's no doubt going to have an innings restriction. Like, he's going to have an innings limit. And the Phillies want to get as much out of him as they can this year if he ends up being as good as we think he's going to be at the major league level, right? So what you don't want to do is you don't want to burn those innings in AAA. You don't want him throwing a bunch in AAA, and then he comes up and he's already like, oh, okay, he's thrown this many pitches this year. We had this limit in mind. Now we can only throw him, 30 innings at the major league level as opposed to 60 innings at the major league level. You see what I'm saying? So you want to be careful that he doesn't burn it out at AAA, but you also have to do enough to make sure he's stretched out and healthy and ready so you're not calling him up too soon, right? What's going to be his immediate tendency when he comes up to the major league level? Adrenaline, juiced up. Hey, I'm going to be chucking, right? And velocity may be up with that adrenaline. Effort may be up on the arm. And that's going to lead to a lot more stress on the arm. So you already got to account for trying to take care of the kid, but you have to find that balance between, okay, how much is too much so that it cuts down on his major league innings? How much is not enough so that he's not ready? So a very delicate balance is going to need to be struck with Andrew Painter over the next month or so as they try and determine when the right time is for him to make his major league debut. But the AAA debut went solidly. There were definitely signs of why this guy is the Phillies' top pitching prospect and one of the best in all of baseball. And I'm just very, very excited to see him do it at the major league level. We're still a long way away, but it's just like, you know what this is? This is like when a guy gets drafted in the NFL and they show you his highlight tapes at the draft, and you know you're not going to see them play for the Eagles for like 4 months or whatever. But you get really, really juiced up saying, okay, but here's what he is, right? I'm excited to see that. Like, you get excited and then you kind of forget about it for a little bit. And then when training camp starts again, you get roped back in like, oh yeah, we've got that dude. Let's see what he's got. We're kind of going to head into dip with Andrew Painter after his AAA debut. There will still be news points. We'll keep you updated on the podcast about what he's been doing down there at the AAA level if anything substantial happens. But we are now kind of in a holding pattern, just working his way up. I'm not going to say the ramping stuff because the Sixers have ruined that phrase, but he's warming up to get to the major league level. So we'll keep you updated on that. But more good news for the Phillies. Andrew Painter looked solid in his AAA debut. And, oh, man, just wait till you see this kid at the major league level, folks. If you haven't seen him pitch yet, I almost want to tell you not to. So you're just so surprised by how good he is when he gets up here. This is the most I've been excited for a prospect in a long, long time. And he's getting closer, folks. He's getting closer. Coming up next, we're getting closer to the Phillies series with the Guardians. It's later on tonight. We're going to preview a matchup with the team whose pitching has really let them down this year. I thought that was supposed to be one of the strengths of this Guardians team. We'll talk about it as we wrap up today's episode. Let's talk FanDuel, though, because the NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action, and FanDuel makes it easy, so easy to stay in the game. Before tip-off and with live bets, with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. And I'm telling you, what I think you should do, look at the Golden State Warriors series with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Take a look at a guy that's been talked about a lot in that series and not in a good way. Draymond Green just can't stop from elbowing dudes in the head. Well, you know what that means? Eventually, he's going to get himself in either foul trouble or he's going to get himself tossed. So maybe you want to play a wager on that and say, I'm going to take Draymond's unders. He's been playing pretty well, so the numbers are probably up there. And you have to go ahead and see if that plays out that way. But not the worst bet in the world, if you ask me. There's also a great Knicks-Celtics series going on. Oklahoma City's really, really good. There's a lot of great stuff to bet on. So go to FanDuel. And if you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. You head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you're going to get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Check out our friends over at FanDuel. Previewing the series with the Cleveland Guardians. Yes, the Phillies are heading up to the mistake by the lake. Sorry, all due respect, Cleveland, but not a big Cleveland guy, if I'm honest. But all that, it's more just it is weather always seems bad, and it's middle of nowhere, Ohio, whatever. That aside, the Cleveland Guardians have a damn good baseball team this year, but not in the way that you really expect. Their strength you normally look at. Like last year's team, small ball. They're going to put the ball in play. They're going to bunt. They're going to hit behind runners. They're going to play like it's 1960, and their pitching staff is going to be the reason that they're able to do that. They'll create opportunities, and then the pitching staff will hold you to none yourself. Well, this year, the pitching staff for the Cleveland Guardians has not been getting the job done the way that they would expect them to. In game one, You're going to be facing Gavin Williams, 5.06 ERA, right? Like that's not what you'd expect from a Guardian starter. Game 2, you're going to be facing Tanner Bibby, and good pitcher, 4.26 ERA. He's had a rough start to the year for the Cleveland Guardians. Game 3, well, you're going to be looking at Luis Ortiz, who has got a 5.3 ERA. You're not going to see anyone with a sub-4 ERA starting. And, oh, by the way, all righties. So bad time for the Guardians to face an offense for the Phillies that's really, really creating stuff. The bad news for the Phillies is the Guardians' offense has been the calling card of their team. These teams have the same record. They're both 22-15. But when you look at what's going well for the Guardians, they don't really hit home runs. Kyle Manzardo's leading the team in home runs with 8, but Stephen Kwan at the top of that lineup, batting .333 this year. He's one of the best bat-on-ball guys. Yeah, bat-on-ball, right? I don't know. My mind's tripping me out thinking I should say ball on bat. He's one of the best contact guys. Let's say that. I feel like Porky Pig, just picking a different word to say in Major League Baseball, so you're going to have to work around him. It's weird to compare because 8 home runs for Manzardo and 21 RBIs, both leading the team, is not a bad set of numbers to be at. But as I look here on my ESPN app, Schwarber at 12 homers and 28 RBIs. I forget just how much of a monster he's been to start this year. And I'm like, he's not even close to Schwarber. Nobody is. Now, Turner's kind of sneaky getting up there average-wise. 310 right now. If he keeps swinging it the way that he is, this Phillies team, they're going to be dangerous. And he's not even hitting leadoff anymore. He's been a great 2-hole hitter behind Bryson Stott. It's just very, very simple. Like, here's how the Phillies offense is right now, and here's what they're going to have to do in Cleveland. They're going to have to take every opportunity because Cleveland's going to score. But when you looked at what they did in the opening inning last night against the Tampa Bay Rays, Stott gets on, double off the right field wall. Then fly ball deep. He tags up and goes to third. Fly ball deep, tags up and scores. That simple, 1-0. They saw maybe, 6 pitches in the first inning, and they ended up 1-0. I'm not saying it has to be exactly that, but you're going to have to take care of the opportunities that you get. And the Phillies have been doing that lately. But they also, remember, just threw Wheeler, Sanchez, Luzardo. So the pitching, it's going to be a little bit lesser in this series. Now, Nola's been on a heater, and he goes tonight. We will see what Aaron Nola has in store, if he could keep his hot stretch going. Ranger Suarez throws tomorrow. You really need a bounce back from Ranger Suarez. Speaking of high ERAs, he got a 17.18 ERA right now. Now, he's only made 1 start. He's only throwing 3 2/3 innings. So obviously that number's inflated, but that's going to be one of the biggest things to watch in this series is can Ranger Suarez start to settle in a little bit? And then you have Wheeler going on Sunday, which is great. So let's do this, right? Let's count Sunday as a win. Wheeler's going to go out. He's going to be dominant. You're going to find a way to win that game. Then you have Nola, and then you have Suarez. I would say that this game tonight is probably the most important game of the series because I'm not counting on Ranger Suarez yet. I said that I'm going to give him 4 starts before I start to really get on him about, this is an issue. You got to pick it up. This is start number 2 for him. So we're not exactly looking at this as a make or break. Is he good now or not start? But with that, with lower expectations, comes increased opportunity for the Cleveland Guardians to win that game. I'm not expecting him to have a dominant performance. I'm expecting them, if they win that game, for the offense to roll. And I'm expecting them to win on Sunday because Zach Wheeler is going to be great and they'll be fine. So Sunday's a win. Saturday, possibly a loss. That's why tonight, Friday night, Nola's going to have to be really, really good. It's a thing of momentum, though. You know what? Nola's not really the guy that when you're going well, he'll soil himself out there on the mound. I don't remember a lot of times where the Phillies are like, we're on this winning streak, but Aaron Nola is the one who ends it. More often than not, it's we're in a bad stretch, and we finally get to Nola in the rotation. It's like, okay, we need a bounce-back start. We need to stop the slide, and he just doesn't, right? He's more of he can keep momentum going, it feels. Like he builds off momentum better than stops anti-momentum. So I don't know. Maybe that's all in my head. There are no numbers that I have to back that up. That is the vibe that I get from Aaron Nola. But when everything's rolling, everyone feels good, right? The offense is rolling. I'd expect them to average 5 runs a game in this series. I'd expect them to be able to hit the ball out. Now, we'll see the other thing, how it plays going from a minor league park to a major league park. Will that have an effect on them? Will they try and lift the ball too much because they're used to that jet stream that was carrying balls out of right field at Steinbrenner Field down in Tampa? That's why I'm saying, like, hey, create runs any way you can. Keep your approach at the plate. ERA is high for the 3 starters you're facing. The pitching staff has not been good for Cleveland. So if you're going to beat them, that's the way you do it, right? Score 5 runs a game. Bullpen needs to step up. Starters need to step up with some of your best guys not throwing in this series. But still, I mean, with this rotation, you always have some of your best guys going. So hopefully the Phils can go win another series. They have won 4 straight. They go for their 5th straight over the weekend. And we will react to all of that on the next episode of Locked On Phillies. But that's all for today's show. Thank you so much for joining us again. Please make sure you're rating, reviewing, subscribing, all that great stuff. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And I'll talk to you Monday on the next episode of Locked On Phillies.